Saying I do, the ring on your finger. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking, for sharing, and for subscribing to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And I pray that the Lord richly bless you, even as you listen to this video. I had an interesting video. I had an interesting dream. In this dream, I was an onlooker, but it played out quite differently from what I'm used to. So, this is the dream. In the dream, I was looking at a couple, and I understood that this was a woman and a man whom God had ordained to be together. The relationship wasn't as smooth in the beginning, but over time, I saw the couple beginning to get along well better. But there was still some words. There was still some clashes here and there. There was, I would say, a lot of the mishaps was just coming from the brother. Okay. So the stander was just doing their most, but their newly saved prodigal was just their newly saved spouse, who was a prodigal, coming from a prodigal mental state, was now in their lives. But things were not perfect, okay? And we don't expect things to be perfect, right? But then, just like that, the scene changes. And then I see this lady with a completely different man. And I'm looking at her and she's dating the man. But funny enough, I was like, I saw them on the first scene, right? I saw her with a different man on the first scene. But on the second scene, when I saw her with this man, it was like my mind forgot about the first scene. Okay, as if I'm in a completely different dream. But this is exactly the same woman. I don't know this woman in real life. I don't know the couple in real life. I don't know any of these people in real life actually. So she's with this guy. But as I looked at them, there was no sense of that's her kingdom spouse. There was no such talk. But I looked at the couple. They were getting along so well. And the guy was a gentleman. Like this guy was a gentleman. This guy did everything right. Okay. Yeah, like this guy was as straight as a ruler. This guy was close to perfection, okay? Um yeah, I could say he was emotionally matured than the man I'd seen on the first scene, okay? And then the dream switches again. And when the dream switches again, I see the very same woman standing, and then she looks down. And then at her finger, and I saw an engagement ring on her finger. It was beautiful, and I could see she was just happy and content with it. And in the dream, when I looked at the people, I could see them talking. I couldn't hear anything that they were saying, but I was able to perceive things, you know, through revelation knowledge, you could say. So she was looking at the ring, and I could see how happy she was. And then I saw like it wasn't not like doubting. I think it was just more like a pause in which she just stopped to think. And then I realized that the ring she was wearing was actually from the guy from the second scene. Oh, and another thing, remember when we were on the first scene, I had no knowledge of the second guy. But funny enough, when we were on the second scene, I had no knowledge or any recollection or even thoughts of the first guy. But on the third scene, it was only then that I was able to remember both men. Okay. And I also understood that the ring that she had on her finger was a ring from the guy from the second scene, Mr. Perfect. And if I were to put the two guys side by side, like the second guy was just the most suitable or looked like the most suitable companion for the woman, okay? Guys, you can switch this around to suit you, okay? And then as she was standing there thinking, you know, as she was standing there thinking, then I saw her look down again at her finger. And then the dream did what it normally doesn't happen. As she looked down, I looked and I saw that it was my hand, you guys. It was my finger. And I realized it was me who was standing there. I'm still gonna get into the interpretation of the dream, okay? And it was me looking at the ring, and I remember saying that this guy is perfect. This guy is this guy is that. He's sweet, he's kind, he's all of that. I was remembering these good qualities of the guys from the second scene. Now the dream was now putting me on the shoes of this woman that I've been looking at, you guys. Can you imagine? Like, honestly. So I began to think a lot of things. And then I'm like, I feel at peace to go on with this. Like, I feel happy to go on with this. But then a thought came. What if the guy from the first scene sorts himself out? What if he becomes a better person? And oh yeah, another thing that I also understood as I stood there with the ring on my finger, it was like the guy was not there. The guy was not around. It was like there was a separation, I think, a very long separation. Because I was thinking to myself, what if he comes back? What if he comes back? You know, I'm like, what if he comes back and then he finds that I am going to be married to someone else? How is he going to feel? And I started to feel a deep sadness, like it's gonna imagine him coming, running to me to tell me, hey, you're not going to believe. I had an encounter with the Lord, this, and that. Now I'm saved, blah, 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 this, blah, blah, that. And then the next thing he sees a ring on my finger. Like, how is he going to take it? So now I was now concerned about the first guy. And I remember then I started to have like these thoughts from nowhere, like, what do people say? What do people think? They're going to say, like, what's wrong with me? Why would I lose a guy like this? Like, do I think that men like this like still come around in great numbers nowadays? Like, I imagine people telling me that if I lost this man, it was going to take me, like, I might never find another him again. And if they saw who I was replacing him with, now they would think I have a serious problem. So I found myself now in this mental battle. Like, what am I going to do? And how do I explain this to people? You know? And again, calling off the engagement, I'm calling it off for someone who isn't even here. Like, it sounded even ridiculous just explaining it to myself. So how on earth am I going to explain it to other people? So I stood there, like, in this dream, I just found myself doing just a lot of thinking as I stood there. And then I was like, but honestly, truthfully before the Lord, this man is the rightful man for me. And I remember I kept quiet, just waiting for that quiet sound, that sweet, soft voice that will say, Maria, yes, go on with it. But I heard nothing. And I really felt like the Lord's eyes were heavy on me. It was like the Lord was saying, I've said all that I had to say to you. I've shown everything I needed to show to you. Now the ball is in your court. And I felt in my heart that if I got married with this guy, we had a very good chance of working out. And I thought to myself, well, we're good. And I remember thinking, I wish there was someone I could call right now and ask for advice. It was like I had to make a decision quick and ask for advice. And then I thought to myself, what advice? Like, what am I doing? And I said, but did the Lord choose this man? Is God with this man? That's when I said to myself, that man may not be perfect. He may be far from perfect, especially compared to this guy. But the Lord is with him. The Lord is with the first guy. Yes, with his imperfections. Yes, with his flaws. But the Lord is with him. The Lord loves him. The Lord's hand is upon him. And that's the man God chose for me. And the dream ended with me just standing there. And I remember You guys, it felt so real. I remember standing there and I'm like, oh my gosh. So now I have to break this man's heart. Like, he's been so good to me. Like, he's so sweet. He's so kind. He's been such a blessing. And he's been like a dream come true. He's been like a prayer come to life. It's like he gave me life. He gave me hope. He brought light, life, love into my life. So now I'm just gonna rip his heart apart like that. Yeah. I stood there feeling so bad and so sorry as I thought of what I have to do and the kind of man I was going to speak to. Like, I was thinking, like, I'm going to go break a good man's heart. How will he take this? I was so sad. Now I was just focused on how the man is gonna receive the breakup. Like, I was really sad. Like, I was grieving. So that's how the dream ended. So when I woke up, I'm like, what in the world? Like and why put me in it in the last scene? I feel the Lord was saying to me, this can happen to anybody, even you. So I just wanted to say that for someone who might say, well, Mara, looks like you may be unstable in the in your faith regarding what God has given you. But girl, you see me, I'm holding on faith. I'm holding on to faith, onto the promises, blah this, blah blah this, blah blah that. I just want you to know that the Lord is saying this can happen to anybody. I stood there looking at this woman and I'm like, during the whole time when everything is happening, I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, do you understand? But when I was put in her shoes, it was so different. So I just feel that the Lord is saying we must just be careful. When the Lord said that this is our waiting season, it is the truth. But the question is, are you going to receive the ring from the right person or not? And I saw how the Lord was such a gentleman. The Holy Spirit was quiet. The Lord was not going to tell me yes or tell me no. It was completely up to me to make that decision. So when the Lord said, this is your marriage season, it's for real. The question is, who are you going to marry? And there's something I need to point out. There was such a supernatural acceleration that I saw happening. Meaning, just like we are always saying that for many, the marriage, the wedding, the marriage, everything's going to happen quickly. So even with the person whom God did not choose, the same acceleration applies because it is your season. It's as if I don't know, the spirit that is over the standing spouse is what is causing the acceleration. Like, it is your blooming season. You are in bloom. It's like, imagine it is harvest time. It is time for you to be picked. You are that rose that should be picked from the garden now. And there's many suitors who are willing to do that, who are ready, able, and willing to do that. So I was surprised, like, wow. So I feel that also with how the dream played out. First, I saw this woman with a man. So God gave the woman the promise. God gave the standing spouse the promise of a kingdom marriage. Okay? And then the person came along. I saw the challenges that they faced. And this means there was something that happened that caused a silence between the two, a distance, a gap. Because in the second scene, the first man from the first scene was, we could almost say, he was non existent. It was only in the third scene when the lady had a ring on that she finally, that it dawned on her, that, by the way, there is actually this man from the first scene. There's actually the man who is a promised spouse to me. So I thought, like, what an interesting dream. Like, I honestly didn't see that coming, you guys. So this is indeed your wedding season. And yes, there are potential spouses. One thing also that I wanted to say is that the way the man came in naturally into the woman's life, the second man came in, It wasn't like this woman was like, okay, my kingdom spouse is gone. I'm gonna try. Like it was not like she's angry. She's got malice. She's malicious. She's trying to find her own way. She's abandoned the promise. It was nothing of the sort. This man just came in and he just fitted in. It was almost like he was always there. Like he was, it almost felt natural. It was like a plant that has always been in the garden that you didn't know was there. And then one day you see this plant already there. Like that's how the second man was in this woman's life. So it wasn't like she went completely out of her way or a complete stranger just fell off from the sky. No, it was nothing of the sort. So I feel that the dream was saying the relationship didn't even start like people who were dating. It was probably a friendship, probably what? An acquaintance, and there was just something in common between them. I don't know whether it was work, whether it was school, a project, ministry. I don't know. But what I do know is that everything was just a stable flow of things. It didn't feel like anyone was inconvenienced. He just happened to fit in exactly into her life. And that's what also made it look like she was actually the perfect suitor for her. So I feel the Lord is telling us, the Lord is warning us that I've already told you or that I have to tell you. And when it comes to you making the decision, do not expect an angel to follow from heaven to come and speak to you. The Lord has already said what what he wanted to say. He's already showed what he wanted to show us. It's up to us now to make the decision. So I felt like, wow. So I just wanted to warn us, like, let us be careful. Let us be careful in this journey. When the Lord said it's a marriage season, he wasn't lying. But you want to make sure that you end up with the right person. Yeah, so this is the dream that I had that I wanted to share with us. So thank you guys. God bless.